Hi, we're back. It's weekend, Sunday, so I get to make something a little bit more interesting. Today it is Mexican lasagna. I know everybody has their version of it. I'll show you what I make. I found the recipe probably 15, 18 years ago when I was on a trip back here to Arizona. It was a cookbook, and I just found it, and it was a cookbook of Arizona recipes, and I found it in there. So I made it, and of course I modified it the way I do. But it's been a huge hit every time I make it. Everybody loves it. So I'll show you what we do. Right now I have the pan heating up for my sauce. This will be the equivalent of your meat sauce in a regular lasagna. And I'm gonna get the oven preheated to 350 degrees. Now when this is hot, we'll come back with the next step. And I'm wearing my apron, so hopefully I won't splatter red stuff all over my shirt. So we'll put just a little bit of oil in here. Just vegetable oil. I'm sure you could use olive or whatever you have. And this is about a half of a medium onion, just diced. More of it. And I will add maybe a teaspoon or two of garlic. What I like to do is season as I go, so a little sprinkle of pepper, a little sprinkle of salt, and hard lessons learned, always measure it out in your hand or a container before you put it in here. You'll do what I do and what I did once, which is just like dump a pound of salt into your mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving. Okay, so we're just going to let this cook a bit and soften, probably on medium high right now. Love the smell of these cooking onions. Okay, so once these soften up a little bit, we'll add our meat. Okay, so it's been a few minutes. Some of the little pieces are starting to brown on the edges. They're soft. That's probably good. Now I'm going to add ground beef. I usually add 1.5 pounds, but in this case, I want to make it really hearty and full of protein. It's going to have protein anyway, but I'm adding 2 pounds. So that is in there. You know how to do this. Just sort of mash it up a little bit with your spoon to try to get those pieces trimmed down to smaller bite-sized particles. Get it mixed. The meat will release some fat, which is fine. It'll help keep the entire dish from drying out. And I'll add more seasonings at this point as I go. Okay, this is on its way. It's browning. It's going to take a little bit. I'll start seasoning as I go. And at this point, the recipe actually called for 1/2 pack of taco seasoning mix, which you can do, which I did, which was great. But there are a lot of folks out there, like me, who kind of know what you put in a taco seasoning packet anyway. And you don't need the taco seasoning packet because there are plenty of these spices on hand anyway. They're what I call the usual suspects. So while this is browning, we're going to start adding, first, always black pepper, or if you have a fancy 4 or 5 pepper blend that's round, that's fine. Salt, just put in maybe a teaspoon just to get started. Oregano, the Brits call it oregano, and I'm probably putting in at least a teaspoon in there. Paprika, which I love. And I might be putting about a teaspoon of that in there too. Gives it a beautiful red color. Cumin, this is very smoky, very earthy. So I don't like a ton, but you need some in taco seasoning mix. So for now, I'm probably gonna aim for closer to a half a teaspoon. Garlic powder, that's always good. I would say at least a teaspoon. Can you tell that I'm guesstimating here? And this, which I ran out of and I had to buy, is onion powder. About the same amount. So the first thing I'm going to do is just mix. One more thing I have. Where did it go? Just chili powder. I don't have a lot of it left. I might put a half teaspoon of that. Okay. So in this situation, I am just going to continue to mix, chop, just to get all of this brown, all of this beef brown, to get all of the flavors melded together. And to have evenly sized chunks of beef when it's all done. So I'm just gonna let this continue to cook and then we'll be right back. That is, for the most part, brown. Still a few particles. Now it called for a can of tomato paste. This might be bigger than the other can. It may have called for 8 ounces. This is a 12-ounce can, so I'm probably only going to add about 6 to 8 ounces in here. And I will also add in maybe about a half cup of just, I have chicken stock, so that's what I'm using, but you can use beef stock. And then I think I just dropped something. Where did I did. There we go. Now, we're just going to continue. Stir, cook, combine, and let some of that fluid reduce down. You see how pretty it's looking? Okay, I think we are ready to assemble. I have this here. The only thing I did off camera, like I always do, I added a little more chicken stock because it was reducing quickly. And I added about a teaspoon of the beef, better than bacon, but it's still excellent. So, ready to put this together. And let me look, hang on. Yes. So the first thing I always do is just put a little bit of your meat sauce at the bottom of the pan and just spread it around so that your other layers won't stick. I can probably add a little more. Then, where did I put it? There we go. The next layer would be your pasta layer, your lasagna layer. In this case, I'm using tortillas, and one thing I always recommend when you make this dish is always use corn. I love flour tortillas for other things, but this needs corn. So, I don't know if I need to turn the camera over a little bit. Bring it this way so you can see. So we're just layering these tortillas. You can probably cut them in half and mix and match sizes if you want. I'm just throwing them all in there. Now, another meat layer. What I'm trying to just spread evenly. A smaller spoon might make it easier to spread instead of this big ladle. Okay. Now is your cream or your cheese layer. So I've seen lasagna with bechamel sauce. I've seen it with ricotta. I've made it both ways. In this case, instead of using either one, it's sour cream. So maybe little dollops to try to spread evenly across this layer. That was a big one. And I'm just gonna take this and try to spread, make it as uniform as I can. A little bit more. That was in the recipe. I never leave well enough alone, do I? So what I do is I add cheese, grated cheese on top. And this is just a Mexican blend, but actually if you don't have it or you don't want to use it, Monterey Jack would be excellent. You could use something melty and mild like Fontina or Gouda if you wanted to. Those would be good. Okay, there goes that one. Now we'll add more meat. More of the meat sauce. I'm splattering all over the stove. Sour cream. I can create dollops. This original batch is about 16 ounces, so it's, I think we're at a regular pound of sour cream. Isn't that nice? You could use low fat. I like low fat sour cream. And I might have enough for one, maybe one more layer. We'll see. Okay. More cheese. You could use mild cheddar. Colby Jack. Those would be good. Now, one more layer. This will probably be it, because I don't have much sauce for anything else. And I need to scrounge up a little bit more sour cream. I have plenty of cheese and plenty of tortillas. Okay. We'll just pack that in a little bit. Last layer of, and this is about a 13 by 9 inch pan. I like using the foil because then when it's done, I could just toss it. That's one less dish to wash and scrub, if you know what I mean. We'll just spread this out a little bit. Just a tiny bit more to distribute. There, okay. So if you were just doing 2 layers because of the size of your pan, then a 16 ounce would be fine. This is probably another 8 ounces on top of that. Or you could just do 2 full 16 ounces. Kind of your preference. Just feel like I'm making a marble cake when I do this. Okay. More cheese. So the oven is waiting. In this case, since this is the top, and I want to make sure everything's covered, and I was running a little low on my ingredients here on this 3rd layer, I'm just going to add a lot of cheese. I want to cover all of the exposed pieces. And maybe just a little bit more. Just a little melt. It'll be beautiful. Now, one other sense, you can add. If you will take some tortilla chips, Doritos, Fritos, crunch them up, and just sprinkle them all over the top. That was a big handful. And now here's another big handful. Just as many as you like. Just trying to get little tiny pieces of this sprinkled all over. And this will be a nice little crunchy counterpoint to the rest of the dish when it's ready. So that's ready to go in the oven, and I'll put it in there for 20 to 30 minutes until the cheese is bubbling and melted. And then we'll take it out and I'll show you the final product. This was one of my I won't eat Mexican lasagna, folks. Tell me what you think.
Really good. The meat has really juicy flavor. 10 out of 10.
And you like the crispy chips on top.
Oh,
and
yeah.
suggested the nacho cheesy Doritos on top.
Everything is soft, but then when you have the cover, the chips on top, it makes it a little crunchier. The Dorito chips would have added a nice little nacho flavor to it as well.
Nice. Okay, bye. Ashley, what was your feedback? Oh, she got a mouthful. And it's hot.
It was hot. Sorry. Amazing. Perfectly cheesy. Perfectly creamy. I fucking love the crispies on top. But the whole flavor works really well together.
And you said you liked it better than regular lasagna.
Oh yes. So much. Well, regular lasagna sucks. But this is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, this is amazing.
She liked it.
10 out of 10.
So let me try. Just put some green onions on top. You can put cilantro on top. Put a little avocado with it. I have a little sour cream. I'm going to take my bite. So I have a nice bite here. Did I cut it well enough? And remember, it has the corn flavor. Plus the spices. Let's see. Ready?
It's really good. It's really good.
The corn. I can taste the corn in there with the cumin and the green onions, the sour cream. Oh, it's really delicious. This one you have to try. I hope you enjoy it.
It's good.